Okay, Jacob, before we begin today's episode, we do need to discuss whether or not we're keeping D-Lit around.
I completely agree with that.
Are you ready to go over this, D-Lit? Alright, so the way I see it, there are three criteria we need to focus on. First, how she's done as producer. Your thoughts, Jacob?
Well, the episodes have been turning out pretty good. The recording sessions have been running pretty smooth, minus the live stream glitches. I'm fine with her currently.
Agreed. Secondly, what about the portals into the worlds of the movies? Outside of some technical hiccups that, to be fair, couldn't be foreseen, that was fun and I think provides some insight into the movie we couldn't get otherwise.
I agree, but the use of technical hiccups, overall, agreed.
Anyway, that just leaves the third issue, which means I do need to ask you a question, D-Lit. Who are you? Who are you? What's your backstory? Why did you come to us? D-Lit, we know next to nothing about you or while you're here. What can you tell us about you? You don't know? Your earliest memory is waking up here in Studio B?
That's strange.
And you have no idea where you came from? And you just wanted to be of some help, huh?
She seems legitimate.
Agreed. What do you think of keeping her around on a trial basis?
Isn't that just going to delay the issue here?
Well, yeah, but we agreed that we both liked how she produced the show, and the portals were nice.
Yeah.
And the issue of us not knowing her past, well, she doesn't know that either.
Mm-hmm.
As Christians, can we really just abandon her to deal with this herself?
You would play that card. But you're right. Besides, 2 out of 3 isn't bad anyway.
You know what? I agree. D-Lit, welcome to the team. And on that note, we need to get started. You ready, Jacob?
Like OSA, let's kick this pig.
D-Lit, are you ready? Then drop that theme music and we'll head towards the future. Hello and welcome to another episode of The Cellcast. Joining me today is a man that, well, despite the fact that it's the end of the world and we know it, he feels fine. Welcome, Jacob.
Rhea, where's your neck bar? Why, thank you. Let me introduce our co-host. A man who is so excited that this film franchise is finally over. Now.
Is it really?
Welcome, Drew.
I mean, eventually, I'm sure we're going to get Digimon Adventure Quad.
There are rumors they are going to do the second season and Tamers.
How are you going to get Tamers to work in this format?
I have no idea.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, we do need to touch on this week's trivia question before we get too far
Indeed.
into this. All right. So, trivia for this week's was a simple question. Who is your favorite Digimon and why? Jacob, who is your favorite Digimon?
If we're sticking to strictly, season one of Digimon in this movie, easy, Gatomon.
I'm not gonna confine you just to this one because some of our guests answers
that is true.
Did go farther than that. So.
I agree. Oh gosh, that would probably be if I had a tie, it would probably be like Gilmon from Tamers and Gatomon.
I can see you liking Guilmon, actually.
Yeah,
you are very similar.
Oh, jeez! Walk out the front door.
I don't mean exactly. I mean you have the same temperament.
Okay,
that's all I meant.
Childlike wonder.
Yes.
Okay.
It really is all I meant by that.
Wow.
I am actually going to go with one you hadn't thought of.
Okay.
Wormmon.
I do like Wormmon. Wormmon was a really cool character.
Wormmon is a good one. He was very, just even with all the crap the Digimon Emperor put him through before
Right.
he turned back into Ken.
Yeah.
Ken, yeah. Sorry, I couldn't think of the guy's name for a
Right.
second. I mean, they only said his name 7 times in this entire 6-part trilogy
True.
saga. But I like Wormmon for 2 reasons. A, he's very loyal.
Incredibly loyal.
And secondly, I like that his the next one's champion, right? Yeah, his champion level Digivolution is Stingmon,
Yeah.
who is based off Kamen Rider.
That makes sense.
And
That
I
totally makes sense for you.
Well, here's the thing: when you look at this, we are dealing with essentially kaiju fight the television show.
Agreed.
That's a lot of what this is. In fact, this delivers better kaiju fights than Power Rangers does, or for that matter, any other source stuff. Just because they can do more with this.
Agreed.
So the fact that you do have one that's actually based right off Kamen Rider, to the fact that he actually looks like Kamen Rider
He does.
a lot, the original Kamen Rider,
Right.
or at least follows the same motif. I appreciate that, and Wormmon's kind of awesome.
Yeah, I would agree.
But going into the answers, I don't know why this does it weirdly. Okay. Go to the bottom. Okay, so Josh Adams stated that he likes Patamon because he always thought he was cute and sweet. Plus, Angemon is an awesome Digivolution.
True.
Stephanie Russell also said Guilmon was always her favorite. Adorable little dino who didn't know how the world works and was still a sweetie. Maybe that's why I was thinking.
Oh
you're
my
sweetie.
gosh. Innocent, naive.
Moving right along. And then B. Sheffield said, well, she said she liked Gatomon because of Angemon.
Yeah.
Or Angemon.
Yeah.
And then I had to double check that she meant Gatomon since Gatomon turned into Angemon.
Yeah.
And I still don't know where I found this awesome gif of Gatomon digivolving into Angemon and back.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of awesome.
Yeah.
But then she says, yeah, she typed Patamon, was thinking of Angemon, but meant Angemon. So yes, Gatomon. Or Diaboromon, definitely the creepiest bad guy to me.
Okay.
Then
Alright.
you responded, saying that Gatomon was one of your favorite anime cats.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Gigi,
Yeah.
who we all know is best cat.
Yeah. I think Gatomon to me is probably like second. It's almost like a tie almost with those two characters.
Yeah. Though the Baron later this year may put up a good fight.
That is true. The Baron is a suave, debonair, awesome cat.
I believe Cat Returns is in our Miyazaki month this year, but I have not checked to see what the next couple movies are, so
yeah.
keep that on the back burner. Anyway, while that's going, Jacob, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. It's been a busy day. It's been a busy week. We had a conference at our church, which we were both there, and we both ran a camera for 5 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was fun.
that wears you out pretty good.
It does.
And 9/10 of the reason why the last week's episode didn't come out until yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Because I was wore out.
That is completely understandable. I had a little car issue on Sunday. My battery died.
Uh-huh.
So I got this good friend of mine to give me a ride to church. And
Literally, the way this happened was my alarm goes off at 8 o'clock.
Mhm.
I shut it off. You know how I am in the morning.
yeah.
I'm not a happy camper. I'm not mad or anything. I'm grumpy in the morning. It's just how I am.
Right.
Till I've, had a chance to, get going.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to depend on caffeine for that, though, but probably because I've never done that in my life. So that's one area I'm not dependent on caffeine. Anyway, and before I even have a chance to be cognizant yet, I get a text message from Jacob that says, "Hey, you up?" To which I respond, "Technically." And while I was waiting for you to respond, I happened to go to Facebook and saw your post about, your car being dead.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, you need help. You need me to drive you down to Walmart because that's my first thought of where to buy a battery.
Yeah.
He said, no, Just see if we can get it to jump, and we'll see, and we'll go from there. And we couldn't get it to jump.
No, could not get it to jump. So
I was nice enough to drive you to church.
Yes. And then I had a very interesting family gathering. We got new plans for our phones. I got a new phone, which is awesome. It's very much a very nice
And
update.
you worry me without having a case on that thing.
Oh yes, believe me. This thing that the new case will not come in until I think this Thursday or the 2nd of next month.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So I'm being my due diligence to be very careful with this thing.
Is it at least like an OtterBox or something like that?
Yeah, it's an otter. It's
Awesome.
a faux OtterBox, but
Well, that's what I was thinking. It's like that style. This is
Mhm.
like this, where if you drop it, you're not out a $1,000 telephone.
right, exactly.
But anyway,
Yeah, so that has been work has been like usual. Work is always kind of it's work. It's work
Yeah.
like usual is. And we've actually been discussing a few things with the future of the podcast and a few things we're wanting to work on.
and I'm going to go ahead and announce this because this is pretty much going to happen. This Friday, it will not be live, but me and Jacob will be recording our reactions for Encanto or Encanto or Chimichubicabra, or however it's pronounced.
And Dallas is going to be excited when he hears that.
If he hears it before we release Encanto, however you say it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not in chat tonight. What can I say? Of course, that's because he's on his own stream right now, streaming something. It is Geek Devotions. I keep wanting to say Spray and Pray. That is not the name of his thing.
And pray.
It's Pray and Play.
Play.
But I've heard Spray and Pray in the past so many times that's where my brain goes. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's that plan.
All right. So yeah, that has been my week in a nutshell.
My week, like you, I was running the camera for 5 hours
Mm-hmm.
at the conference. That was fun. I have been getting overtime
Yeah.
last couple last week and definitely this week.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've just been tired at the end of the day. But and then Sunday I got a little bit of bad news, but nothing too serious to talk about on here.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's just been a week.
Yeah.
Get right down to it. What have you been watching since Friday?
Since Friday. Okay. So what have I been watching? This was a movie I had watched years ago, and correction, I've watched both these films in the past. Street Fighter 2, the animated movie,
Mm-hmm.
the extended cut, and that was fun.
I have not watched the animated one, but I've seen, of course, Street Fighter the movie 3 or 4 times, and own the Blu-ray of.
Yeah, anytime I think of Street Fighter the movie, I just start giggling for some reason.
Oh, I get the same phrase in my head. Ming Na Wen tied up on this in the room. She just having told this horrible story about how her father died when M. Bison had tore through her village,
Mm-hmm.
and M. Bison just says, "See, that's the thing. For you, the day M. Bison visited your village, it was the greatest day of your life. For me, it was Tuesday." And it's my favorite line in the whole thing because it's like, you know what? To some degree, that's true.
I agree. But when I think M. Bison, I think larger than life character that could topple a mountain if he wanted to. And
Raul Julia is not that.
No, he was little guy. But either way, that's just the first thing I ever think of when Street Fighter.
The other role,
or the over the top acting in that film.
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh.
And how very little it has to actually do with the
Street Fighter.
the Street Fighter video game.
This movie actually does have more to do with the film.
Yeah.
Because it has more cameos from other characters. It's not Jean-Claude Van Damme as
Guile.
Yeah, as Guile or as Captain Guile.
And or Ming Na Wen as Chun-Li.
Yeah. Chun-Li has an amazing fight.
Or a Hawaiian actor playing C Honda.
Honda?
Yeah, the Chinese sumo wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
but he's Hawaiian.
Again?
Not Chinese. He is Japanese. He is
He's
Japanese
Japanese.
because it's
Yeah.
Chun-Li that's Chinese.
Yeah.
Sorry. Got him backwards.
So, yeah, I watched that. And then immediately after, there was another movie I'd watched years ago called Fatal Fury, the movie. That's also animated based off a fighting
video
game.
I
A
remember
fighting
the
game.
I remember the game. I remember Fatal Fury 4, I think.
Mm.
I think
So-
that's the one that was on GameCube. But anyway.
So I remember watching this and it's like, wow, like animation wise, it's pretty good. And like it's pretty good action wise, whole bit. It's like whenever people start talking about like the serious parts of the film, they automatically start talking about like a fighting stance. I'm like, okay, this is definitely a fighting film.
Yeah.
Animation wise would be like, it was one of those like, wow, okay, I'm kind of inspired, artistically with this. And it's okay. So I rewatched that and it's like, okay, it's pretty good. I want to watch it on, a Blu-ray at some point.
Mhm.
But if they ever get around to doing that, I don't know if they ever will. Well, Christian, they do have that. No, there again, I misspoke on that.
Yeah.
But I would love to, like, some point to actually get a physical copy of this film and also Street Fighter 2, the movie. But other than that, that is all I've been watching. What have you been watching?
Well, what I have been watching, I just started going through these the second. Okay, so here's the thing. I've been watching Kamen Rider, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
The first 13 episodes features one guy playing Fujioka, that's his name, playing Takeshi Hongo, the first Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
At some point, Fujioka got injured because he was not only playing, the human character, he was also the guy in the suit and doing all the stunt work.
Yeah.
And he was also the singer of the original theme song. And apparently, at some point, and I think it must have been around like episode 10 or 11, because that's when that you can definitely see some stock footage being used. I believe Fujioka got injured pretty badly, to the point where he would not reappear on the show until episode 40 something.
Wow.
So they got a new guy and they changed like all the stuff around. Bear in mind, this is a show from the 70s. But I don't know the actor's name yet, but the character's name is Hayato. And I don't really know if I like him or not, but the way the stories are, you can definitely tell there's more money now being put into the show.
Yeah.
I mean, in the first 13, they did not even know a good way to show the monsters getting killed or the people dying from the monsters' attacks. Sometimes they would just, they'd show the guy fall on the ground, and then the scene would automatically do a cut frame to like a pile of foam in the general shape of the guy that would then be played in reverse to make it look like it was being sucked down into the ground, when obviously it was being pushed up through a pipe before and somehow was the general shape of the guy.
Yeah.
There's one, the most ridiculous one. The way the death happened, when the guy fell on the ground suddenly turns red, because shifting where it was just a cut.
Yeah.
It's looks like a set of white marbles on a string that are in the outline of the guy on this red background, and they just pull the string so that, and to make all the marbles kind of just go away, and that's to let you know that random shocker grunt number 23 is dead.
Okay.
It is weird.
That is weird.
Because it was cheap. Because they couldn't actually use explosions yet. But now they're getting to where they can do some stuff like that and have a better production value.
Right.
So it's been a wild and wacky time on that show.
All right.
And like we said, we just got started with the second guy, he will play Kamen Rider 2, as is his actual name, all throughout the rest of the 98 episodes
Okay.
of Kamen Rider Season 1. And then the other guy's going to show back up somewhere in the 40s, and they're going to be fighting together against the evil organization of Shocker.
Yep.
But in the O2's first one, they fought a monster based off a cactus. who was running Shocker's operation in Mexico and was actually doing fairly well.
Okay.
And that's why they brought him over to fight the Kamen Rider, because, I mean, Shocker has been having a hard time getting anywhere in Japan because they've been fighting Kamen Rider, stopping them at every moment.
So it's not Palmon?
No, it's not Patamon, it's Stingmon.
It's Stingmon.
Bringing that back up.
Yeah.
And so he's attacking with what his plan is he has these explosives in the shape of cactus balls
Okay.
that he calls Mexican flowers.
Oh, jeez.
And if you just barely touch them, they go off and explode.
Okay.
And he's going to blow up a dam somewhere in Japan. It doesn't go well.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been enjoying that because of its absolute ridiculousness. But it's also fun.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Also, I have been watching... and it just went right out my head. I watched something this week, and I can't remember what it is. Hang on. Let me check Backlog Golf. Because it would have been done there. Oh! I did mention this, I think, on the last episode, but I am watching Firefly for the first time.
Yeah. How's that?
I'm enjoying it. It's a different show. I can, to some degree, I can see why people like it, and I can see why Fox cut it from that time period. So, yeah. I don't think it really fit network television at the time, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
But there is that. Gameplay-wise, along with continually jumping back and forth into 14 and having some fun there,
Yeah.
I have been playing a game I bought a while ago, like over a year ago, but just finally decided, hey, I need to try this since I paid money for it. A fighting game called BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle.
Okay. That's an interesting
It
title.
combines 4 properties, one of which I have no idea who it is because I've never heard of it, and apparently the game series it's from has never been released in America, so
Okay.
I kind of feel better about not knowing who it is. The second is the BlazBlue franchise, which has a bunch of games that have made it over here, but I'd never played any of them. The 2 I actually know are the characters from Persona 4 Arena, a fighting game based off the game Persona 4,
Okay.
and Ruby,
Oh, okay.
from Rooster Teeth.
Yeah.
That's something we're going to have to figure out how to review at some point,
Right.
because I haven't figured out what the best way to do that is.
Mm-hmm.
Considering I think if we do it as an animated series, our reviews are going to be longer than the episodes. But, and we may do those in groups. I don't know. Anyway, I've been playing that. It is ridiculous. It is an easy fighting game. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
And you do some absolutely ridiculous stuff. But I can't explain it any better than that. Because it's confusing. And I am nowhere near beating it, and I'm probably never going to be anywhere near beating it. But yeah, that's been what I've been watching and playing.
All right. Good deal.
What do we got in the news?
All right. So this news came out like a couple of days ago, so we're just we're telling it now. Netflix announced that Guillermo del Toro's eagerly anticipated non-stop stop motion take on Pinocchio has carved out a December 2022 release. A teaser was released, which I did watch. I would highly recommend going and looking at it. It looks really cool. Introduced us to narrator Sebastian J. Cricket, voiced by Ewan McGregor, who lives in the heart of the beloved puppet. The expected date is to be announced. And so, yeah, we are getting a stop-motion Pinocchio film by the world-famous director Guillermo del Toro.
I have a feeling it's going to be very dark and probably closer to what I read the original story was
oh my
like.
gosh. Yeah.
This is not going to be the Disney version. This is
No.
going to be
No.
Yeah, we're gonna kill Jiminy Cricket in the first 5 minutes.
Spoiler alert.
That's how it is in the book.
Oh, I know that. I know that. All right, so going to second bit of news. This one was interesting. I thought I would just bring it up because it was like, okay, that's interesting. All right, a stunning animated comedy featuring which they're calling Blazing Samurai, has found a home on Paramount with Paramount Animation.
Okay.
It was picked up. It has the pickup rights from GFM Animation from for North America and other territories. It's got one of the directors from The Lion King, and it's got several other people who are worked with the projects. And this will be released in the U.S. on July 22nd. Okay, so if you can't pick up on what the Blazing Samurai, let me give you one guess. What do you think that's kind of a...
Am I reading this right? Loosely inspired
Yes.
by the Mel Brooks 1974 film Blazing Saddles.
Yes.
Crazily enough, I think just even looking at these pictures on
Yeah.
here, I know how this works. Okay, you're aware of the film Seven Samurai, or as we know it over here, Magnificent Seven,
Yes.
and how literally they took a samurai movie
Yeah.
and made a cowboy movie based on it?
Yeah.
We're taking a cowboy movie and
making
turning it
it
into a
into a
Japanese
samurai
samurai movie. That is what's happening here.
Yes, pretty much.
I'm on board.
Yes, in a heartbeat.
I don't know how they're going to get away with the references to all the Warner Brothers stuff, like the Bugs Bunny joke about when
I don't know. There again, it's an adaptation. It's
Yeah.
a kind of a
and not to mention there's some other
it's family friendly version of it.
not to mention there's going to be some jokes that are in there that are no longer considered appropriate because of cultural differences between then and now, but this will be interesting.
Well, also be like the
Samuel I know. I think now that I'm looking at the cast list, I don't even have to read who it is. Michael Cera, obviously going to be playing Gene Wilder's character.
mm-hmm.
Samuel L. Jackson, he's the main. He's going to be the sheriff. Has to be the equivalent sheriff character.
Okay.
Has to be.
Well, let me finish my
Sorry, continue.
I know you saw that and I was like, I've got to look this up. All right,
You
so
said that, and it's like Blazing Samurai. No, that wouldn't work.
all right, reimagining the racial tension of Mel Brooks' classic Blazing Saddle, the family-friendly adventure follows Hawk, voiced by Michael Cura, a lovable mutt with big dreams of becoming a samurai. When he becomes the new sheriff of Kokomachuro. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. He finds that he is a bit over. He's bitten off a few people on chew. The town is inhabited by is apparently it's swarmed by cats and an overlord voice. It's yeah. And apparently
Crazy thing is, sorry.
yeah
I've looked. They've got the poster on here,
yeah
and it's of course it's the big fat cat with the Hello Kitty thing on it.
uh-huh
I know who this is. It's Hongo. Oh, sorry, Mongo. That's his name.
Mongo?
He was the big dumb guy the bad guys hired to go kill the main dude, and then the main dude turned him to his side.
Could. Yeah, it's possible. There again, this is a family-friendly version of that movie. Just reversed.
Oh, word, this is going to be so dumb. But I'm going to love it.
Yeah, apparently it'd be like it's going to come out in July 22nd, possibly on Paramount Plus. So
Why is there not a trailer for it?
I have no idea. So I saw that and I was like, dude, this sounds like a really good. I don't care if it's going to be good or not. It sounds like a good concept.
Hang on. Stupid. Move forward to the actual trailer. I know about Rumble. We're doing that soon enough. This is okay. This thing lied to me. It said it was Blazing Samurai, and it is not Blazing Samurai.
Of course.
It is Rumble.
Of course.
You liars. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be coming out in July 22nd. So most likely it's on Paramount Plus. It might go to theaters. We don't know yet. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Let me ask you this question: have you seen Blazing Saddles?
Yes, I saw Blazing Saddles when I was a very young kid.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I don't know where. I know Mel Brooks is in your line of comedies you actually like.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if you'd actually seen it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My dad set us all down and be like, dude, this is a funny film.
We may have to Patreon that later on. We'll
What?
think about it.
Blazing Saddles?
It's a Patreon
Maybe.
review.
Maybe.
We are getting ready to do some more of those.
Yeah, we're working on those.
So if you like hearing us talk about movies, you might check us out on our Patreon. We get you more reviews of the more live action stuff too.
Exactly.
Anyway, continue.
Yes. So that is all I have for news.
Then we need to get into the spoiler-free section
Yes.
of our review for Digimon Adventure Tri Part 6 Future.
Mm-hmm.
I will be happy when we are to smaller titles.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. I have enjoyed Digimon Adventure Tri. I've got issues.
Yeah.
Because who wouldn't have issues?
Yeah.
But I'm definitely ready to get to some shorter titles like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Part 2.
Electric Boogaloo. Anyway.
All right.
Digimon Adventure Tri Part 6 Future. This is essentially the boss fight.
Pretty much.
It's like this. There is some more intrigue in there dealing with, what happened to Tai. We're in the spoiler-free section, so I can't talk about what happened with Tai. For all you know, those of you who are going to turn us off at the bumpers until you get a chance to watch it, Tai is dead.
Dun, dun, dun.
But we'll get more to that in a second.
Right.
Dun. But yeah, this is the way both side stories are handled. I thought were done very well. It is I'll say this before, just like last time, if you have watched all 5 parts previous to this and you're debating whether or not the 6th part is worth it, just put the stinking disc in and watch it. You are this close, and this makes up for every slow bit in the past 5 movies, or every part that gets annoying.
Right.
I really do like it this much.
Right. Oh, wow.
I've got some issues.
Okay.
Because of course I do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be bringing up some stuff, I believe, that has been an issue for a while, but I hadn't had a chance to touch on it.
Yeah.
Primarily because I wanted to see if they'd fix it. Correction, I just looked at my dislikes. I don't have anything like that. But there are stuff. There's stuff I could bring up later on.
Okay.
But yeah, I have enjoyed this. This was a good climax, good finish for the saga that we've been going through so far.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts be like it's an interesting film. There's parts of it where, to use a football analogy, that I
don't understand sports analogies.
Okay, so for those of you who understand football
I'm
analogies,
joking. I'm being facetious. I kind of do.
okay, so you're
from another movie. Anyway,
you're at the end of the 4th quarter. You're up by 2. You have the ball. You're on your own 15, and the coach says, "Spike it." The coach says, "Take a knee." Be like, the game's over. And so your quarterback gets a little cocky. He's like, you know what? I'm going to throw it. So the quarterback says, hike. Be like, game goes in motion. The quarterback throws the ball, and he drops it. Just slightly. He drops it, and then it gets picked up, and it goes all the way down the other side of the field.
I was about to say. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, so this, it's there again.
For me, the way this, if I was going to compare all 6 movies
Yeah.
to the football analogy,
Yeah.
the first 3 movies were the first half.
Okay.
Obviously. I mean,
Right.
it's half-half. Parts 4 and 5 are all the third quarter, where
Yeah.
the band gets up and leaves, so you don't have them accenting the game because they're doing their rest. Nothing's really nothing's going bad, or nothing's like pressure. There's no pressure at this point,
Right.
because you're just past halftime, but you're not to the end of the game yet, where you're going to be laying all the pressure on.
Yeah.
This movie is the entire last quarter,
I would agree with you. I completely agree with you.
with a slight botch at the end.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
A slight botch in the way the film ends, and it annoys me.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. So yeah, I kind of view this movie, this franchise movie series is very much, it's got some good rhythm. You get to the fourth quarter, it's got a lot of really good rhythm, and it kind of drops it at the end a little bit.
Almost like, okay, we're setting up for Digimon Adventure Quad, if that ever happens.
Okay.
Because you obviously, well, no spoilers. Not going into spoilers.
Yes, no spoilers.
We'll complain about that in dislikes.
Yes. All right. So yeah, Beal, I enjoy it. It does have problems. It does have problems here and there, and it there again, it drops the ball here and there, and it's how do I describe this? To like eating pie, but someone grabbed the last slice, and you're slightly disappointed that someone grabs the last slice than you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, that's my spoiler-free thoughts.
Actually, it's more like you're having pie a la mode. You were waiting patiently for the pie, but you waited so long they ate up all the ice cream.
Pretty much.
That's kind of how it is.
Yeah.
You're expecting pie with ice cream, but all the ice cream's gone.
Yeah.
That's kind of how this goes.
Right.
It's not bad. No one will say this is bad.
No, it's not bad.
It just could have been better.
Yeah, it could have been better. Anyways.
Anyway, are you ready to jump into the bumpers and get into this thing?
Right.
All right. So join us on the other side, and we will get to spoiling. Don't forget that you can download. Don't forget that you can. Don't forget that you can listen to us record the podcast live every Tuesday over on our Facebook page, The Cellcast, our Twitch channel, The Cellcast Gaming, and on YouTube at Cellcast. Also, don't forget to join our Patreon if you would like to support us monetarily. At $1, you'll get our everlasting thanks. At our $5 tier, you can get some artwork from Jacob. And at our $10 tier, you can get bloopers for every episode we've released that I've remembered to release them for. And you can get commentaries from different movies. So come check us out over there if you would like to support us financially. Each week on Stunning and Brave, hosts Chris Cowan of the Babylon Bee and Nate Henderson of Some Boring Budgeting Job confess their privilege, spotlight stunning social media posts, and fabricate outrage, all while keeping you super woke and enlightened. They will make you laugh. That's right, you have no choice. Check out Stunning and Brave at stunningandbrave.net. Do you like Star Wars? I don't just mean the original trilogy. Along with that, I mean the prequels, the sequels, the anthologies, the animated shows, and of course, who doesn't like Baby Yoda? Well, if you've been in the fandom for any length of time, you know how toxic the fandom can get. And if you'd like to be able to discuss a galaxy far, far away in a much more positive light, might I suggest searching out The Outer Rim, a Facebook group dedicated to all of Star Wars, and check out their YouTube channel, which you can easily find at Pop Americana, which the podcast you're currently listening to is also a part of. To find that and more, check out the link in the description. The following is a spoiler-filled review for Digimon Adventure Tri-Part 6 Future. If you don't want to be spoiled, you should. I really don't like this. I'm trying to do Digimon is back again, but it does not work. You know what? Forget it. I'm going back to Butterfly. The following is a spoiler-filled review for Digimon Part 6 Future. If you don't want to be spoiled, you should turn this off right now. Digimon Adventure Try Part 6 Future was directed, written, created by, and acted out by the same people who written, created, directed, and acted in the last 5 movies. So if you want to find out who they are, listen to our previous episodes. Same with Kingdom Hearts connections. It's the same connections throughout all 6 of these. So, yeah. That's that.
All right.
What's in info and stuff?
All right, info and stuff.
Same verse. More is the first.
Exactly. So IMDb, this movie has a 3.5 out of 10. It was released in Japan on May 5th, 2018, and in November on September 20th of that same year. Let's see, it was released on region-free DVD and Blu-ray in Japan in June 2nd of 2018 in the UK, December 2nd of that same year. In the US, it was released and December 4th of 2018. All the films were streamed episodically. Episodically. Thank you. Format outside of Japan on Crunchyroll, Hulu, Anime Lab, Tubi TV, while 18 Arts and Shop Factory distributed the English language version of the films.
And apparently the episodic version of these films all used Digimon Are Back Again for the theme song.
Really?
With different edited versions of the previous films to serve as the video for the intro, for the theme.
Gotcha.
We only got to hear Digimon Are Back Again for the first 2.
Very true.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Getting into the summary. Believing that Tai is dead, the Digidestined return to the real world. Meanwhile, Tai and the injured Nishijima wake up in a facility. Nishijima reveals that Davis, Ken, Yoli, and Cody are in cryostasis and were captured after discovering King Drazel's plan. Genai appears and stops the life support system, forcing Tai to choose between escaping with the others or saving Nishijima. After Tai enters one of the capsules, the dying Nishijima sends them back to the real world before the facility explodes. And we'll never hear from him again. With Kari still in shock and TK tending to her, the other Digidestined fight Ordenimon, but are defeated. Hackmon informs them of Homeostasis' intent to reboot all digital technology in the real world to stop Ordenimon. I'm just going to say right here, that is not how it sounded in the film, what it was going to happen.
Right.
It sounded like they were going to reboot the whole world.
Exactly.
However, it would cripple all man-made infrastructure. Of course it would. The whole world would be rebooted. Refusing to give up, Matt and the others have Mako lure Ordenimon to the sea and confront her again, but to no avail. Kari overcomes her trauma and has a vision of Gatomon inside Ordenimon, who reveals that all light resides in Mekumon. That is some rhyming right there. Guided by Kari's vision, Izzy discovers that memories from all the Digimon have a backup stored inside Mekumon, which explains why her memories are intact. Mako unlocks the sealed memories inside Mekumon, restoring the lost memories and extracting Gatomon from Ordenimon. The reboot of the real world is halted by Hackmon. However, King Drazel floods Ordenimon with corrupted data. Tai rejoins the others as they reluctantly digivolve their partner Digimon. During the course of the battle, Mako's Digivice awakens Omnimon's merciful mode. Omnimon destroys Ordenimon, because that sounds merciful, deleting Mekumon in the process. Genai leaves through a digital distortion after King Drazel's plans are thwarted. More on that later. Mm-hmm. With both worlds restored, Mako returns to Totori. I'm assuming that's what I was calling Osaka, Georgia last week. And homeostasis shuts down King Drazel. Izzy begins work on a gate that would allow traversal between worlds without D3s. That's the second season Digivices for those who don't know. 3 months later on Christmas Eve, Tai converses with Mako on the phone and Agumon interrupts by declaring that they will always be friends. I did not have any additional trivia for this episode.
All right.
Why don't you start?
All right, so my first one is going to be the most obvious one in this film. And I was like, really? I originally put this as my number 3, but I'm going to put it on number 1 because it was more like, okay, movie, you're fooling nobody. The fact to be like, the fact to be like, okay, Ty disappears into the earth, and we're supposed to assume that, oh my gosh, he died. Well, I'm thinking it's like, okay, no, they're like, no, they didn't kill Ty off. They couldn't kill Ty off because Ty is the main character.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was interesting. They were trying to pull this big wool over our eyes, which obviously, if you're a fan of Digimon, obviously you can't kill the guy with goggles. Well,
But he didn't have the goggles.
he didn't have the
then.
goggles. That is true. Hold on. Let me start over.
No, continue where you are because you're actually making some good points.
Yeah, it was just the idea of the movie was trying to give the notion that Ty had died. And obviously you can't kill the main character off.
Yeah.
Be like, Digimon wouldn't do that. I know some other franchise
Well,
that would probably do that.
You say that, but they do make some sacrifices later in the film I was not expecting.
Yeah.
Not any of the characters from the show, the original show.
Yeah, I'll get to that as well.
But
Yeah. So yeah, it was this idea that they killed off Ty, and obviously no, that didn't happen. So I thought that was a very good ploy that they led our characters, they led our audience, who are maybe some of the viewers who were not as fluent with Digimon. I don't know. Or it's okay, it was a good ploy to leave Ty out of the show, out of part 6 for a while. I thought
it made a lot of sense to leave him out of part 6 for a good portion of it. And they did need somebody to go save season 2.
Agreed. So yeah, the movie thought they could pull the wool over our eyes, believing that Ty had died.
Aw,
Bravo.
And they failed miserably.
They failed miserably. They did.
That's the thing is they really didn't hide it from us.
No, they
because
didn't.
It's not 15, 20 minutes where we see Ty and Nishijima wake up in the facility, wherever the facility is. So I mean, it's like, and the only reason it took that long is because they were establishing what the other characters were doing during that time.
Right.
So they literally let us know like fairly quickly that they were alive. But once that scene is done, I mean, they just don't have, they don't even pay attention to Ty. Because I mean, you do get one point where they say, hey, the season 2 Digidestined, they just showed up at a hospital. And I'm thinking, okay, that means Ty made it back too.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, and you look down at your watch and you go, okay, there's 45 minutes left in the movie, and he doesn't show up for 40 of those minutes.
Right.
It's like, well, not 40. It's a little bit better than that. But it's like he's out of the movie for a long time.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming he must be running from the hospital to the giant Evangelion monster in the middle of the bay.
Well, no, because we do see his capsule. It floats up on the shore.
Yeah, but he's still like far away enough that he probably had to run all that way to catch up with him.
Probably.
He's not like he's hiding in the bushes.
Right.
But anyway, continue.
Yeah. I thought it was a good tactic that they took Ty out of the film for a good chunk of the film to let the other Digidestined kind of grieve the possible loss of their leader, and Matt having to take up the mantle. I thought that was a very good tactic. I thought it was a very good kind of diversionary tactic. That's a better word. Diversionary tactic. And I thoroughly enjoyed that slight diversion, give our characters more leeway to be more not themselves, but to press on to try to defeat Dominimon. I want to say Dominimon.
Or Denimon.
Or Denimon. Thank you.
The way I remember it is because I keep thinking it's saying Ordinarymon.
Yeah. Or
even
Denimon.
though it's less than ordinary.
Yeah. Or Denimon. But I thought that was a really good ploy, even though you're not fooling anybody, movie. But yeah, I thought I converted my third to my first So yeah, that was my first like. What about you?
So my first like, I'm actually rearranging some stuff also because I kind of just wrote these down in the order they occurred to me.
Right.
I'm going with number two first. My number twos first as my number one. Not that you all need to know any of that. Nishijima's sacrifice.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Nishijima is a character I liked.
Yeah.
He's the only one that's of the shady government organization that was actually supporting our characters.
Right.
And admittedly, as soon as they wake up in the facility, you know he's not leaving the facility because he's already injured so badly. I mean, Digimon does not show blood that often.
No. This
and
movie,
he's covered in it. So it's like,
he's got an abdomen injury.
you are dying and you are going to live out past this scene. So you're about to make some heroic sacrifice.
Uh-huh.
And how are you going to do it? You're going to tell Tai, you're going to lie to Tai and tell him, hey, go check the thing in the capsule. So that's the only way we're going to be able to get him out of here. And he runs over there and closes the capsule. Yeah, you're going to survive longer than me. And plus, you've got a Digimon waiting for you. I don't. Bye. Not quite that like
No.
that. But this is also after the Digimon Emperor version of Genai comes in and taunts them.
Yeah.
For like a couple minutes. Says, yeah, there's only one thing back. You'll have to choose who is going back. And the other one will have to stay in the facility and get blown up. It's like, the guy who's dying is the one
Yeah,
that's
that's,
going to get blown
that's
up.
obvious.
That's obvious. I mean, especially when the guy who's dying was introduced this season, essentially this season, and he's obviously not a major character because even though he's been our only supporting character, he's only in like maybe a fifth of the entire thing total.
Yeah, he's a support character.
He's a support character, and you got this choice. You either the guy who's bleeding to death who doesn't have a Digimon, or the kid who's perfectly healthy and can actually do some good, who's got a Digimon waiting for him. Who is going to be?
Yeah.
Now, granted, Tai would have taken Nishijima with him if he could.
Yeah.
But they didn't have a way to do that. So, and admittedly, that's just how the writers wrote it. But yeah. I liked the way I liked the fact that they actually when they actually did sacrifice.
Yeah.
I say that. I like this character sacrifice. I'll put it that way because this is a noble sacrifice.
Yeah.
Him putting Tai before himself to stick it to Dark Genai Emperor guy. I'm sorry, I still hate this character of our quote unquote main villain.
Yeah.
I know King Drazel is our real main villain.
Yeah.
But he's not in these. He's just talked about.
Yeah.
So I really feel no threat from him. Now, our actual villain, Genai, we'll call him now.
Yeah.
Dark Genai, he's a threat and he's creepy and I hate him and he's a mustache twirler villain, so I'm kind of okay with it, but I'll get more on that in a minute.
All right. So my second would be the Kari and Mako's vision of where Kari sees Gatomon, and I love that scene where it's just more like those two intimate scenes with this character. And definitely when you have Mekumon and Meku, their final scene together, where it was like so like I don't remember if it had dialogue in it. Did it have dialogue? I don't remember.
If it did, it was stuff from that time period that was not really meant as not meant to tell you anything other than this is what's going on in the scene.
Yeah.
More than likely, I think it was silent. Like, it has been over a week since I watched this. Admittedly.
Yeah. So, I enjoyed it because there again, it didn't use a lot of dialogue. Definitely when you saw Mekumon, vocalize without his hearing, saying "den den," and I was like, it was
Don
really
Don.
Don Don. Thank you, Don Don. I always thought it was Din Din, but it's Don Don.
It's Don Don. That's how they say it in Osaka, Georgia.
Osaka, Georgia. So yeah, when it says Don Don, when you see the character do that, it's just like it was really touching. It was kind of it pulled at your heartstrings a little bit. And it was like, oh, that it's like, ow. And yeah, I'll get into a lot of that later in my dislikes, but yeah, ow. It was so well done.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my second like.
I have a feeling we have the same dislike.
Maybe. What's your second?
My second is the epic ending, which is like the last half of the movie.
That is true.
I mean, once first off, you got the first Digifight against Ordenimon. See, I can't even think of the darn thing's name.
Ordenimon. Yeah.
And you've got all of them attacking Ordenimon, except for Agumon, because Agumon can't Digivolve, so he's on the sidelines cheering his heart out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I forgot this until one point. Tentomon and Izzy aren't in this fight either.
No, they're not.
And neither is Kari and Gatomon. Well, Gatomon, obviously. Actually,
Gatomon.
Gatomon actually is there. It's just part of Ordenimon. And Patamon and TK are not there.
Yeah.
Because they're taking care of Kari. And about halfway through the fight, I realized, wait, this is not our full force.
No, it's not.
3/4 of the team are missing. A quarter of the team's missing.
Yeah.
They can't. No wonder this is not going good, because we're obviously going to need everybody for this fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and of course, you've got Matt, who's been wearing the goggles this whole time, but he's much like Ty was. And this is a point I want to bring up. Ty and Matt, when they've worn the goggles, when they're not wearing them on their eyes to see the lines, whatever that stuff is, the signals, they always wear them around their necks.
Right.
And it did not occur to me until a specific moment in this film that I'm about to get to that that's what was going on, because Matt obviously could not wear them correctly because he never felt himself the leader of the group.
Right.
Ty wasn't feeling like he was the leader of the group throughout most of the series.
True.
He knew he was. That's why he had the goggles, but he never felt like he was actually... He never really stepped up to the plate until Ty shows back up.
Mm-hmm.
Matt gives him the goggles back, and Ty puts the goggles on the correct way with them sitting above the eyes.
Yeah.
Just like his character model was. And it's at that point I went, how did I miss that he's not been wearing them correctly? I guess in my mind, what I was thinking is, okay, Ty's older now. Mm-hmm. He's not a kid. He's not going to wear them on his head like he did as a kid.
Yeah.
Like Davis did. Like all the other Digi main protagonists in the other 7... How many series is it? Tamers, Frontiers, Data Squad,
Fusion, and there's a few others.
Let's say 4.
Yeah.
4 seems about right before Try. So, and this did not occur to me. He was not doing that. So that was a nice visual metaphor for the fact that he may not have been where he needed to be as a leader up until this point.
Yeah.
But now he is. And that's when things start finally going right. When he's finally stepping up to be the leader he's supposed to be.
Right.
And then you get everyone transforming, and then everyone getting their memories back.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there going, okay. You get the little red laser beams going through and hitting everybody in the forehead, which makes me think of snipers. But anyway, it's like, okay, that's cool. So and by this time Gatomon had been expelled.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, well if they crack this, that means she's Ordenimon's going to transform back into Mako, and this thing's going to be about over. How much time is left in this? 20 minutes. Crap. This is not to quote Luke Skywalker. This is not going the way I think. Not going to go the way you think.
Right.
And so King Drazel somehow is filling her with dark data. Somehow. And the thing is, with the logic of Digimon, it's close enough I can forgive it, because I've seen stupider.
Right.
So, okay, that's how he's healing her now that half of Makomon, half of Ordenimon is not there anymore. It's now being filled up with evil data.
Yeah. Dark
data, whatever that is. And so they, of course, have to go full bore and bring out Omnimon Merciful Mode.
Yeah.
The most merciless Digimon I nearly skipped. Flipped.
You nearly did
Yeah,
it.
they did
That's the
The
third
most
time you've done it.
merciless Digimon in the show. And the reason I say that's because it didn't get activated until Mako activated it, which means she, in some ways, had to already give up her friend because Makumon dies at the end of this stupid film. More on that later. But the rest of that is epic
Yes, I
in the
agree.
big fight. And it's like,
Yes.
this is what I signed on for.
Yes.
It took us 6 movies to get here, even though we had good fights up to this point.
Right.
But this is why I plugged in Future immediately after
Oh, yeah.
Coexistence went off, because it's like, dude, it's crap's about to go down,
Exactly.
and it did.
Agreed.
Not the way I wanted it to.
Exactly.
But anyway, that's my second like.
Okay. So my third like kind of takes two different elements, but they kind of fit together. You have Matt dons the goggles because obviously he gives Matt, TK he's MIA, he's missing in action. Ty. That's what
TK's not missing in
Ty.
action.
That's what I meant to say. Well,
TK
TK is missing in action part of this film.
But it's because he's taking care of Kari.
That is right.
Because they're in love.
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently. I have to say that because I don't remember much of season 2.
Right.
And if a relationship was going to happen,
It's
that's
very
where
heavily.
it was.
It's very heavily implied.
Well, no kidding. They're the group from season 1 who's leading season or helping out in season 2. Of course, they're love interests.
Right.
It's a Tommy Kimberly situation.
Very true. Very true. So
I just broke
Matt.
your mind with
yes,
that, didn't I?
no, you didn't break it. Concentration went somewhere else.
I brought in Power Rangers. You got confused.
I got distracted, not confused.
True.
Distracted.
True. I'll give you that. You were distracted.
I was distracted. So Matt now dons the goggles. Ever since Ty is MIA or presumed dead. So the idea that he takes on the responsibility of being the leader of the DigiDestined, but that very intimate scene where he's out on the patio with Gabumon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just basically Matt breaks down. It's like, hey, be like this. Be like, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah.
Be like, I'm not the leader that Ty is. And it's just Gabumon being Gabumon.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's gonna be okay. Be like, I believe in you. And it was really touching to see, big tough be like, I get mad about everything. Matt break down about something. And I was like, wow, that was amazing. And I thought that was a very good scene.
Well,
very well executed.
When you think about it, the fact that Matt gives up leadership
Oh yeah,
for Ty to have it, the fact that Matt knows that Ty is a better leader than he is and is not afraid, never been afraid about it.
Yeah.
As far as I know, they may have been a fight maybe in the beginning of the first season, because I can see Matt doing that before he actually knows who Ty is and before they've actually had to work as a team before.
Right.
But the fact that Matt has never, after that point, as far as I know, ever complained about it and accepted it, I think is a testament to his character, to the fact that when you get to that point where he has had to take up, he realizes I may be a good second in command, but I do not have the mantle of leadership here.
Yeah.
And the only reason he would even be considered second in command is because he's the other half of Omnimon.
True.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was very, very well executed. The fact to be like you have a character he's placed the burden of leadership on himself, but deep down he knows he's not the man for the job. Yeah. And so be like he has that confidence in his Digimon, and then you get to the hilarious point where all the other Digimon are watching them through the window. It's like,
Including
I'm gonna beat
Agumon.
every one of you.
Yeah, it's like, oh, isn't that sweet? I'm hungry.
I'm hungry. Of course Agumon's hungry.
Yes.
But yeah, that was an amazing scene, kind of tying in with this. I wanted to make like a 2-parter third part because it just was great, because Drew brought that up in the third part. His third like was the ending.
I haven't brought up my third like yet.
Oh, you
That
haven't?
was my first like that I brought up the ending. The second like I brought up the ending.
Yeah, that's right. Your second ending. My mistake.
You're fine.
His second ending.
We're doing it a little out of order.
Yes,
so
we are. We are. So the fact to be like you have this grand conclusion of Omnimon merciful mode.
The most merciless Digimon.
Exactly. And the movie doesn't end with a happy ending. I mean, like, yeah, everybody gets back, but Mekumon was destroyed.
I'll get to that in
Yes.
a minute.
Oh, yes, I do. And it's just, I mean, like, it's one of those where you think, oh my gosh, everything's going to turn out right. Everything's going to turn out great.
Literally was no reason it couldn't.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
anyway.
Oh, I agree with you there, and I'll get to that in a minute.
So will I. In fact,
Yes.
I have a feeling we'll be tag teaming our first dislikes.
Probably. So yeah, the fact that like Mekumon is gone. Now there is at the very end of
Yeah.
there's a sound, but we're not really giving
okay,
clarification what that is.
Officially, because this is the only bit of trivia I found, and I didn't want to say it there.
Yeah.
The sound of the Digi egg hatching
Yeah.
after the credits is supposed to be signifying that Mekumon has been reborn
Yeah.
without the Apoclymon data.
Yeah.
I'll
But-
believe that in Digimon Adventure Quad, or whatever they call it.
Yeah. The only problem is
And they bring them all back together, and we finally get some decent Mekumon action.
You're right. Yeah, the only problem is that would break canon of what they've talked about. The fact to be like if Digimon dies as a digital world, he can't be reborn, or he be like Digimon can be reborn, but it's not the same Digimon anymore.
I follow you there.
Right?
Let's bring in. I'm going to throw in a possibility.
Okay.
It obviously is not the same Digimon that was before, because the Mekumon from before contained data from Apoclymon.
Okay.
That would have changed the makeup of
This
of Mekumon.
right.
There's nothing saying that homeostasis, if it was a nice computer for once, couldn't just port over the memories.
I agree.
Because obviously Mekumon had an ability to store memories.
Yeah.
And more than likely... Okay, here's the other thing. The other Digimon were rebooted.
Right.
While they did not have their old memories, they remembered their kids. Not exactly. They knew to trust them. The only one that fought was Biyomon.
Yeah.
And I pointed out that part of that is because right before the reboot, Biyomon was already berating Sora for not standing up for herself.
Agreed.
And that persisted through the reboot because that was the general feeling Biyomon was feeling at the time and was cooping up. There's nothing to saying at that last minute. We already know in Mekumon's last moments, she was feeling grateful for Mako.
Yeah.
Because she showed up for like 5 seconds before the delete finally went through.
Yeah.
There's nothing saying she reboots. She may not remember Mako.
Yeah, but there's that.
But she's going to know she's missing somebody. She needs to find somebody.
Yeah.
And something's going to would of course happen for Mekumon and Mako to team back up. Especially if Izzy figures out how to get back to the digital world.
Right.
Sans distortions and portals and gates and other things.
Right. So yeah, that is my third like. What is yours?
My third like. Well, you remember in the fourth movie, one of my favorite likes was about the use of the theme song.
Mm-hmm.
That was the theme song as sung by the original artist. In fact, it's the original theme song. The original recording of the theme song. I double checked all this. It's not the Tri version.
Really?
Because this is the Tri version that we get at the end of this. And it's not just sung by it's sung by the two people who've been singing all the insert songs for this.
Yeah.
Plus all the Japanese voice actors and actresses.
Really?
It shifts back and forth between all of them.
Huh.
Singing different verses, including Mako.
Really?
Now the Digimon don't get anything. It's just the Digidestined.
Yeah.
In fact, it's credited as to the Digidestined, along with these other two people. So the fact that that made me happy when that part sang, especially because the entire time they're singing, you're in the video part, you're actually seeing them kind of an epilogue of sorts, even though that you can't hear anyone talking because the music is going.
Exactly.
But you kind of get to see a couple scenes But you're seeing that while the original Japanese voice actors are singing Butterfly.
Yeah.
No, that would not have worked with the English actor singing it because that doesn't have the same impact as, I don't know, it has better impact with the Japanese characters, and plus I have no idea if any of the English voice actors can sing except Johnny Young Bosch. I think I have heard Johnny Young Bosch sing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, hearing Butterfly by the original Japanese cast as the ending theme for this, I thought was the perfect knot
Yeah.
on the bow of this movie and of all of Digimon Adventure Tri.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my third and final like for this.
Okay.
You got anything before we jump into dislikes?
No, let's just jump into it. So my first dislike is apparently Gatomon has Digi-Armor and poor Mekumon and Meku.
Okay, so let's point this out. Let's go ahead and point this out. The reason Gatomon was able to survive the deletion is because she wasn't in Ordenimon when Ordenimon got defeated. That's why she's got plot armor.
That's true, but also let me try to explain this a little better. That because obviously you can't kill off a main character in a movie.
Obviously,
you can't do that.
And as much as we hate to say it, even though there are more major characters in this film, both Mekumon and Mako are essentially side characters. They're more important than Nishijima or what's her face, whose name I've completely forgotten now, from the last 5 movies.
Because he drowned in the dark ocean.
Yeah, that's the fate when you've decided to when the writers forget what to do with you. Your character just gets forgotten.
You go crazy and drown.
Yes. Thankfully, as Christians, we know we're not forgotten by the author, which is God.
Exactly.
Anyway, continue.
Anyways,
There's your Christian message for this movie.
All right. So the fact that Gatomon probably second, maybe it's a good tie, where Gatomon is favorite movie cat.
Mm-hmm.
Because the movie that we're doing this year,
that's
a close one. That's a close one.
Well, I mean, you still got Gigi up there. So.
Yeah, Gigi's a very high tier cat.
Yes,
but it's so to explain my title of Gatomon has.
If you wake up in the morning and you see a white cat, it's me. Sorry.
Good one.
Sorry.
Good point. But going forward, okay, so obviously you can't kill Gatomon off. So you have to find some way, some mechanism to pull her out of
Ordenimon.
Ordenimon. I think Ordenimon.
You only have to remember this for another 30 minutes.
I will try.
Till we get to the end of the episode.
So to pull, Gatomon out of Ordenimon. So be like they very cleverly use the idea that somehow Kari can, sense Gatomon, and Gatomon can pull herself out of Ordenimon.
Admittedly, we did talk about last episode how Kari has some kind of weird special abilities none of the other Digidestined have.
Yeah, she's special.
She is the chosen one.
She is the chosen one of all.
She's not the leader of the group, but she's the chosen one.
No.
She has the leader of the group's ear.
Yeah, that is true.
She can beat him to high heaven, but
so I found it be like I was sad when they actually did kill off Ordenimon. That meaning they would kill
Mekumon.
And I kept thinking, I was like, there's a better way to do that. There's so much more.
Yes, I have a way this will work.
Yeah, there were so many different ways they could have made this a more. I understand the idea that Mako and Mekumon. Yeah,
Mako.
I
know why you're saying that. It's because you're hearing Mako and Mekumon are so close.
They are.
But it's Meku for Mekumon and Mako for Mako. Because there's only one O in Mako while there's 2 O's in Meku.
Yeah. Mako.
Once again, you only have to worry about this for another 30 minutes.
Don't confuse the dog. She'll just tell the entire night.
Look, I know you're not a big cat guy. Continue.
All right. So There are so many different avenues they could have gone down and given Mekumon and Meku
Close enough.
the
D-Lit would like us to move on.
yes, thank you. There were so many different ways they could have made this. Be like, yeah, I like the idea that it wasn't a happy ending. I like that idea, but
I'm not against the idea that it's not a happy ending. I'm just thinking there is a better way they could have handled this.
yeah, there's so many different avenues they could have gone down without using King Drazel throwing dark data into her because she's starting to remember everything and the Digimon the original Digimon are now I've got all their memory back. Like, yay. Okay.
Which apparently allows them to transform into Omnimon. Wait, Omnimon showed it up in like episode 4, didn't he?
Episode 1.
I know he was in episode 1, but didn't he show up in episode 4 too?
No,
Never
he
mind. Never mind.
Never
Apparently
mind.
Omnimon requires memories.
Apparently.
It's a system requirement.
Yeah. So there were so many potentials. They could have made this more like Mekumon and Meku. Just be like, made that more instead of, oh, Meku dies. Mekumon dies. And she's deleted as a Digimon would be. And I was disappointed in that. I was like, really? Like there were so many avenues you could have gone down with like the idea that like maybe like possibly they could have like extracted her outside of Ardennimon or something like that. Could have done anything like this. But no, you have Omnimon merciful mode. As Drew said, the most
merciless Digimon in
ever.
creation.
It's like, oh, let's just slice her in half.
Okay, I need to jump in here.
Okay.
Because my biggest problem is the fact that if this is truly Omnimon merciful mode,
Yeah.
then he should be able to be merciful enough to not kill the character.
Exactly.
So I was doing crazy research. I know. Research, going to wikis and looking at Digimon wikis, trying to figure out what's wrong with this. And I saw that, technically Ardennimon was a virus type and Omnimon is a vaccine type. I don't know what any of that means. I'm assuming good guy, bad guy.
Yeah.
In reality.
Right.
What we would call a dark Digivolution and a normal Digivolution.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. I don't know. But here's the thing. If this is the merciful one, why does it kill the person it attacks? I mean, admittedly, I think the other times Omnimon has shown up, which would be the end of Digimon the movie.
Yeah.
Or not the end of Digimon movie, sorry. The end of our war game.
Yeah.
That's when he showed up.
Yeah.
Which is the second act of Digimon the movie from the three shorts they
Merge.
Frankensteined into one movie.
Yes. If you want to watch,
Willis.
if you want to listen to that review,
That's back in season 1.
go back in season 1 and listen to that.
Yeah, so we showed up. I'm assuming he must have shown up at the end of season 1 also. During. Okay, so has the only other time Omnimon has shown up besides episode 1 and this movie
Yeah.
was in Digimon the movie?
Digimon movie and the return of Diaboromon.
The return. Okay, so he did fight Diaboromon. When he fought Diaboromon, I'm assuming you've watched it.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to Diaboromon when he got killed? Got killed. Put quotation marks. What happened to him? That's what I'm asking. Because in my mind, Merciful Mode should be a stronger version or a better version of Omnimon than just straight Omnimon.
Well, to go into that movie, that would be like going into spoilers about that film.
All I'm really asking is that he did did Diaboromon get completely killed, or did he get like reduced to like baby form?
I think
That really doesn't.
No,
that's
he
not
got
really a
deleted.
spoiler.
He got deleted.
He got deleted. Okay,
Yeah.
so Omnimon deleting Digimon is not a bad deal, but the problem is this is a Digimon we want to survive.
Yeah.
This is a Digimon everybody, all the Digidestined, all 8 of them now?
Yeah.
All of them want Mekumon to survive. Obviously, the 7 that fought Diaboromon did not
Right.
want Diaboromon to survive.
Because Diaboromon wanted to destroy the world.
Right. I mean, they would have preferred
Thanks,
him.
Willis.
If they could have killed him without killing him, somehow cleansed him, maybe they'd be fine with that. But Mekumon, They don't want dead, period. They want Meicoomon back. They said that multiple times through the last 4 movies.
Yeah, even throughout this entire film, even throughout this entire the 6th movie, they kept it was like, oh, Meicoomon like needs to die or something like that. There was always, she was.
But that's what Mako said, because Mako was completely lost. This is the first time she's had to deal with the end of the world.
Yeah,
strangely enough. And she's actually so scared about what Meicoomon in the form of Ordinimon is going to do that she would actually rather put Meicoomon out of her misery.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The problem is there was an easy storyline given way this could work without too much rationalization.
Okay, what is that?
That sword could have cut Meicoomon from Apoclymon's data, or cut the Apoclymon out of there. Sort of, I don't know, healed Meicoomon from the infection. We've been hearing infection the last 6 movies.
Yeah.
And they could have healed Meicoomon from her infection, and that would cause her to de-digivolve down to whatever her baby form is, which we never got to see, because all the smallest form we ever got to see of her was Meicoomon, which was the champion level, which there's 2 other ones below that, technically. We never got to see. I've looked. The only Digivolutions we've ever gotten for Meicoomon are Maykrakmon and Ragumon, as we kept calling it last time. So it would have been, and that's the other thing, is throughout all the 60s, we never got to see what Meicoomon could do when working with Mako.
Right.
The only time Meicoomon actually got to fight, outside of one time when she attacked somebody as Meicoomon, and that was more out of self-defense than anything else, has been as a villain. And she's been taken over by Apoclymon's data. We never got to see her actually be a good guy and get to fight as a good guy, actually be a part of the team. All we really got to see was, yeah, she's a Digidestined. We're accepting her as a friend, because especially since we're helping Mako, who needs all the help she can get right now because her friend has gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Agreed.
And the way this show is written, the Digimon are closer to the Digidestined than any other being in existence could possibly be to them.
Agreed.
So the loss of one is actually a very big loss. So you don't believe me? Look at the lady whose name I never remember. Himikawa. That's her name.
There we go.
Look at how Himikawa acted when Tapirmon was completely killed and she couldn't get back to her, and she threw her lot in with King Drazel, which turned this whole thing into motion.
Agreed.
It's the entire point of this, and at least I will say this from what we see. Mako is at least stronger than Himikawa.
Yeah.
When it comes to the fact that she's fairly certain she's never going to get to see Meicoomon again because Meicoomon had to be deleted.
Yeah.
She is stronger than that, and I appreciate writing a character like that. But good night, don't do this.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not even... You could have had her be like injured enough that she's going to be out of the fight for a while. Meicoomon, I mean. But I don't think she... There's no point in this where I would have thought the character deserved to be sacrificed. Now, granted, I think Nishijima, he was put in a Kobayashi Maru scenario, so he picked... He went with his character, and so in a way, he earned his sacrifice, because that was him being him. Meicoomon, the only thing that she did that will quote-unquote force her to need to be killed was because she was infected by Apoclymon's data.
Right.
Her being sacrificed had no... it was an unearned sacrifice. It was just almost a merciless killing.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying that Omnimon Merciful Mode is the most merciless Digimon, because it killed someone who didn't need to be killed.
Yeah. There were so many avenues they could have gone down, but they took that...
Yes.
The path the most...
Meicoomon died for no reason.
Pretty much.
And that's my problem.
Yeah.
If you're going to sacrifice a character, it needs to be earned. You need to be able to feel that death. I didn't feel anything here because, I don't really know the character outside of her Pweety Pwees from the second episode,
right,
and her going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for the following 4 episodes. I never got to know the character, so the fact that they sacrifice her at the end had no impact.
Yeah.
I feel worse for Mako because she's losing one of her best friend.
Yeah.
In essence, but I've gotten to know Mako over the course of the past 6 movies.
Right.
I don't know her as well as I would like because most of the time it's just her reacting to, she can't find Meicoomon,
Mm-hmm.
but she has character development.
Right.
Meicoomon doesn't. She doesn't even have all the Digimon, including Agumon, as much as he just likes to eat,
Mm-hmm.
have had character development over these episodes.
Yeah.
Meicoomon didn't. You sacrificed someone with no character development, so it was unearned, and I don't know why I'm supposed to care other than I feel bad for Mako.
Yeah.
Treat your characters better. That's all I'm saying, especially if you plan to sacrifice them by the end of it.
Yeah, agreed.
Anyway, your second dislike. Now that I've ranted about sacrifice.
All right. So here's a question, and I thought this movie kind of dropped the ball again on this. So in the first few episodes, we have Omegamon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Omegamon shows up. He's a big baddie for the first.
No, actually, it was Alphamon.
Alphamon. I meant to say Alphamon. My apologies. Alphamon. Omegamon. I don't know where I got Omegamon from.
Because it would have made sense for there to be an Omegamon when you had Alphamon.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially when I can't figure out by looking at Alphamon why he's called Alphamon.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
Alpha, Omega.
If there was an Omega, I would have accepted it.
Well, I think in the original Japanese, it'd be like Omnimon was called Alphamon.
Or Omegamon,
Omegamon.
probably. That
Omegamon.
could be true.
There again, I could be mistaken in that. But
I will double check while you're talking.
Yeah. But what happened to this character? He's our first big baddie we meet, and I think he shows up like once in I think
He shows up twice.
He shows up
He's
twice.
at the end of episode 3 fighting Jessmon.
Yeah.
When they first get to the digital world.
Yeah. And then he pops up like another part. That's it.
Okay, yes, you are correct that Omnimon, which is what we know him as in Japanese, he is Omegamon.
Yeah.
So, okay, at that point, I will accept it. The problem is they never actually really build on that they're opposites, because Omnimon and Alphamon only fight one time.
Right.
But anyway.
I agree. It's just they could have done something with that. I understand they wanted to get to, King Drazel. They wanted to get to all these other stuff. Like Drew has pointed out in the past, where this movie had so many ideas they wanted to play with. They had so much in the sandbox. But when they realized that, they're like, oh, we don't have the room, we don't have the time to do this. We had to cut corners, and Alphamon just kind of got chucked to the back corner. That's my thought. That's my thought.
It would have been nice to bring him back in.
Oh yeah, at least. But they
It
had
would have been nice for Jessmon to actually do something that was helpful for a change.
Right. Hackmon, come on, really?
You're just a pain in the butt. At least you did technically stop the world from being rebooted. Let's talk about that. That's my next dislike.
There you go. Go for it.
How's that for a transition?
There we go.
In the English dub, it is not easily explained what they actually mean. They just say all they say in the English dub is that they're going to reboot the real world. Okay, I've got questions.
Okay.
Now, in the the summary I read, it did say the digital infrastructure of the world, so the computers and such.
Yeah, computers.
Which would have caused, all the infrastructure to collapse.
Right. I have a problem with that.
Yeah, that's not a good way either. But here's the thing: that's not how the English dub explains it.
Yeah.
Other than Izzy going crazy, it's like it's going to destroy everything. It's like, well, no, duh. It's going to be the end of the world if you reboot the real world. Which also brings in other questions. Questions I didn't think about.
Yeah.
That I could have brought up at any time throughout this. Is the real world made of data in this world? The same way the digital world is.
No.
Really?
Okay.
Frontiers seems to think so, since they can combine themselves with data.
Well,
to
that
make
should,
those
Well-
fusion Digimon. Heck, the way we originally got the Metal Garurumon and War Greymon was Angewomon and Magna Angemon shooting Tai and Matt in the back so that the power would go through them to Agumon and Gabumon to warp Digivolve them to those forms.
right.
I mean, that sounds like how does the data and the fact that the humans and the Digimon can be in the same world at the same time and still have all the capabilities they would have in their
That
own
is
world.
true. And also, you got to think about Digimon Tamers, where they biomerge. They biomerge together.
Yeah.
Like they even do it in the real world. It's like,
I-
how does that work?
I had not thought about this
Yeah.
until Hackmon said they're going to reboot the real world. And I'm still going, how? And what does this mean? You say it's going to be more dangerous. I'm thinking, no, duh, because they're not binary by probably any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. It's biological.
Biological. That means there's probably a 2 or a 3 in there somewhere.
Maybe a DNA strand.
Who knows? Maybe it's more 100,000 million times more complicated, and somehow whatever homeostasis is can reboot it? What does that mean? Is this going to, I mean, does that mean time's going to restart and it's going to go all the way back to the Stone Age? That's going to be pretty bad for the digital world.
Pretty much.
Because from what we can tell, the digital world comes from the fact that humans made computers in the real world. So why does, I mean, by that stretch of the imagination, homeostasis should have been really mad that the human world was so much stronger than the digital world, since the digital world couldn't exist this whole time unless the human world was.
Yeah.
This is the problem with not structuring your dub correctly, translating your dub correctly, and B, having fly by your seat lore when you're trying to come up with continuity, because you bring up these stupid questions that you never had to ask.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, like I said, I would not have asked this even had I seen a lot of the rest of them. Because I'm sure there's stuff in Fusion and in Data Squad and some of the other shows that would have brought this to light also.
Yeah.
If I'd have thought about it too hard. But it may have been just as, so far beneath the surface like it was with Frontiers and a couple other times that it may have just, I might have sailed past it without realizing it until someone says something stupid like they're going to reboot the real world.
Yeah, here's another question. Be like, if King Drazel is that power, and also that what's that character's name? The one who's trying to reboot the real world.
Dark Jedi?
No.
The Digital Emperor?
No.
Hackmon?
I'm fishing here. Come on.
I've named everyone who talked about it.
Homeostasis.
Homeostasis.
Thank you.
Okay.
So homeostasis is going to rebuild the real world. Okay, one, what kind of power does he have? Like, what kind of omnipresent kind of character who is a digital character in a digital world can reboot all the digital
all of creation.
All of creation.
All the digital world, all of the real world, probably the Depression Ocean, the Dark Ocean, whatever, the Quantum Sea,
Quantum Sea.
all the other terms we found for that stupid area. And probably they can reboot all of it, because I'm guessing homeostasis is, in reality, the writer's computer.
Probably.
And that's too meta for this series. I'm sorry.
Agreed. But in that same era, be like, homeostasis is, be like, the way I understood it, that homeostasis would reboot all the computers. He would reboot everything.
And that's what that thing said. And I'm assuming in the Japanese version, that is pretty much what's being said. It's just when they tried to transliterate it into English, where it would work with the mouth flaps. Actually, that's even stupider, because Hackmon never opens his mouth when he talks. They didn't have to match a cotton picking thing.
That is true.
They could have found a way to word it where he could have said, reboot the humans' computers. Look at how easy that was to say. And that may have fixed what your problem here. Yeah, that would still cause the infrastructure problems they bring up. But
Right.
it's not as crazy out there as like you're going to reboot the entire world.
Yeah. So obviously be like, if you have a computer, you have to reboot it, right?
Yes.
Be like, okay.
I had to reboot this one today.
Yeah.
I don't have to reboot Deedlit, thankfully, because she takes care of herself. And she said if I ever touch anything on her, she'll slap me. How? You don't have a body.
Yet.
She said not to worry about that.
Okay.
Okay, Deedlits. I'm sorry.
We'll play nice this time. All right. So going back to my point, the idea that like, okay, the homeostasis is going to reboot, the computers in the world, and Izzy's going nuts over this. Oh, it's going to destroy everything. It's like, no, it's not. Like, yeah, it'll shut everything down. Have you seen Jurassic Park?
Well, okay. Let me jump on Izzy's side for a moment.
Okay, jump on Izzy's side for a moment.
You remember? Do you remember Snowpocalypse?
Yes.
Okay. You realize we were only 30 seconds, literally 30 seconds from the Texas power grid being down for 3 months.
I had heard about that. Yes.
That's a similar thing that would have happened if they'd have rebooted everything, because all the equipment, including the generators at the stations, would have gone off and then had to come back up. And you have to bring the electrical grid up in like
Sync?
a certain order.
Yeah.
So that, it doesn't
That makes
overpower
sense.
and cause everything to shut back down again. Admittedly, I am not an electrical engineer in the slightest. I just know what I heard on Practical Engineering because I listen to that. Watch that show for some reason on YouTube. Go check them out. Awesome show. Anyway, so that's the only really way I can think. Like, yeah, there's probably a lot more infrastructure things that we don't realize how it actually works.
Right.
That would be a pain in the butt if you tried to reboot everything.
Yeah.
That is the main reason why Homeostasis and Hackmon were even hesitant to reboot the real world in the first place.
I would agree with
as
you
they
there.
put it.
Yeah.
Because it was more dangerous.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I agree with you. Yeah, just be like, okay, so you're going to shut down the entire computer infrastructure of the world. I was like, okay, there's 1,000 questions there. like you said, be like, there's all these questions that are brought up and like it's never really answered. It's just like,
how does Homeostasis have the ability to reboot every computer in the world at the same time?
yeah, I understand rebooting the digital world because that's your realm.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I understand. Be like,
How much control does Homeostasis have over the real world? How scared should I be?
yeah, exactly. Does homeostasis control everything?
Since all it wants is
it Skynet?
balance. It wants balance, and it will do anything it can to get for it. Thankfully, that is not my god.
Yeah, exactly.
Because boy, you got to be scared half the time when if that's the person controlling your world.
Yeah, sounds like another religion. We're not going to go there.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. But so yeah, homeostasis. Be like, that's a scary program.
Yeah.
Be like, if it has the littlest problem with something, it's delete stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it wants to balance
Keep everything in balance. I'm thinking,
Yeah, no.
And why did you just think of this in the past 30 years when there would have been enough digital world to actually have to worry about balance with the real world?
And another thing with homeostasis,
Because I can't imagine the digital world was anywhere near where it is now
right,
until about 1970,
roughly.
Because that'd be about the time computers were starting to take more and more. I mean, that's around the time you get your first video games.
Right.
Is around the 1970s. So, and that's when computers were starting to make their way more into the home and into businesses. Prior to that, the digital world would have been like maybe the size of CUNY.
Pretty
to
much.
use a name of a town nobody but us knows about.
Yeah. So, staying with homeostasis, we learn early on in the movie, mind you, that homeostasis believes and knows that Meicoomon?
I confused you with CUNY.
You did. You did. Meicoomon is a mistake. She wasn't meant to be born.
There's a lie.
Yeah, there's a lie.
There is no mistakes
There is no mistake
when it comes to that sort of thing.
So there again, if you had a godlike character, a godlike being that was like homeostasis, that literally judged everybody based because of an error, and wanted to correct everything based on that error, be like, that would be the worst god to serve on the planet. Praise the Lord, we don't have a god like that.
Yes, exactly. Because if we'd have been rebooted 1,000 times today.
Yeah.
More than that.
Exactly.
I'm actually, that's not even a good estimate. There's 7 billion people in the world?
Oh, yeah.
All making stupid decisions like every second?
Oh, yeah.
That would have been enough of an error that homeostasis would have caused a reboot?
Oh, yeah.
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 Thankfully, that is not our issue.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, homeostasis has there's a lot of problems with a bunch of stuff when it comes to
Oh, yeah.
a lot of problems. It's like, okay, I get it, how they kind of tied that in with Kari's being able to, being a vessel.
Being the chosen one.
Being the chosen one. I get that. That's really cool. But when you have a character who is so powerful that if it detects something that could throw everything out of balance, is willing to destroy everything to correct that error.
And I'm going to say this again, like I said last episode.
Uh-huh.
So many problems that have crept up in this series because that's caused, things to get to this point would have been fixed if homeostasis would have spoken plain English to these kids back in episode 2 when she showed up.
Yes, I agreed.
Anyways,
so that is I believe my second dislike.
yes.
Yes.
Which brings us, I said my second dislike. Did I start? We did both of them, and then I came in with
yes.
No, then you gave your second dislike, which was I don't remember what it was now, but it led straight into me being able to talk about rebooting the real world.
Yeah.
Jacob, what is your third dislike?
My third dislike. This goes back to the beginning of our film, the 6th film, where Matt has taken charge with Ty's absence. He's, gone MIA, or he's assumed dead. And Matt says, "Oh, we gotta go back to the real world." And I'm thinking in my head, it's like, wait a minute. Kari just lost her brother. And there's no fight whatsoever with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, okay, Kari's depressed. I get that. But the fact to be like, she's not even putting him a fight. No one's putting him a fight about, be like, oh, we got to find him. We at least got to find his body or something like that. Like, no Marine in their freaking mind is going to leave a fellow soldier in the wilderness or in the desert, what have you, just because, oh, we got to base. We said, oh, we got to go back. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about Ty's body. We'll come back and find it later. No, let's find Ty's body. What the heck's going on? I'm just
I know what you're saying. You're saying. Problem is, Kari's needing to get safe to somewhere safe.
Oh yeah, I totally get that.
And they have a raging Evangelion style angel on the loose.
I agree with you.
Downtown Digitokyo.
Yeah, pretty much. I get that.
They have work to do.
I completely
agree. And they
agree with
don't
you.
have time to go save Ty's body because there's only 6 of them left who can do anything.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So anyway, sorry, continue.
I agree with you. I thought it was so weird that, like, definitely Kari, of all people, there again, she just saw her brother, quote unquote, die, and now Matt is telling we have to leave, thinking that there would be some kind of resistance that Kari wouldn't do it, or she was be like, I understand being in depression. I have mild depression. It doesn't define me, but I have it. But it's just the idea that be like, you're going to leave. Like, I have younger brothers. Say if I had a brother pass away and said, no, we've got to leave, be like, no, I can't leave without him. So that's my mindset being a sibling, and you had a sibling pass away or they got lost in the woods, and someone saying like, oh no, we got to leave. No, I've got to find him. So that's coming from a sibling standpoint. Be like, I don't
Okay,
care if I'm depressed or not. I gotta go find my
Okay,
brother.
first off, Kari's not just depressed. She's like uber depressed.
Yeah.
She's not even aware of what's going on around her at this point.
I agree.
That's why when they do get her back to the real world, she sleeps for like 3/4 of the rest of the movie.
I agree with you on that.
So she's not in any sort of decision-making mode. Matt doesn't want to leave without him because Matt's Matt's, just really hoping Ty's alive so he doesn't have to lead because Ty doesn't, Matt doesn't want to lead. Or B, he's actually scared for his friend. Or C, he really does think he's dead. Or more likely D, all of the above.
Yeah, probably.
That's what
I completely agree with all those points.
I know what you're saying. Perfect world, they would have gotten they would have all of them would have started clawing away at that rock formation before going back.
Yeah. Here's
They didn't have time to do that,
Yeah.
and crap was about to go down. They had to get back.
Oh yeah, I completely
They
agree.
did
with you.
not have time. I don't care how much you want to save Ty right then.
Yeah.
He is more than likely dead, and if anyone's gonna know, it's the chosen one who apparently can sense her or thinks she can sense her brother's death, who just caused her own Digimon and Mekumon to merge to form an Evangelion style angel to go destroy Digitokyo.
Very true.
I say Digitokyo because I don't know the actual name of the city. I'm just assuming it's Tokyo, but it's
Odaiba.
not.
The town they live in is Odaiba.
Yeah, and Mako comes from Osaka, Georgia. What's your point?
But either way, here's an idea how that could have played out. How it could have, just speculative. How it could have played out is that Kari wanted to, but she passes out. Okay, makes sense. She's gone through 2 months from shock. She passes out. Makes sense. And so be like she wants to, everybody else wants to, but then you have a Demimon.
Or Denimon, yeah.
Or Denimon is advancing in their direction, so they can't go forward, they can only go back.
Except Ordinimon had already escaped through the portal to go to the real
That
world
is
before
true.
the end of coexistence.
That is true. That throws my...
They had to get back to the real world to fight Ordinimon.
Yeah, agreed.
Even if they weren't at full capacity, they were the only ones.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, we know the rest of the Japanese Special Defense Force could not do jack crap.
Agreed.
And
Completely.
they can't fight Godzilla. They can't fight a Digimon. Let's be honest.
That is true.
They'll try, but they won't be able to do it.
Yeah, they have a hard time with. Yeah, they have hard times with those things.
Yeah. So, I mean, they had to get back because they're the only ones who can save it because they're the heroes and they know it. That's how these shows work.
Right.
As much as they would have loved to take care of Ty right then and there, no matter what shape he's in,
Yeah.
unless they knew for certain that there was even a sliver of hope
Yeah.
that Ty not only could be saved, but that he'd be ready to get up and go attack Ordinimon right then and there, they didn't have time.
Yeah, agreed.
And let's face it, think about what they actually saw.
Yeah.
It wasn't just that he fell into a crack. He fell into the crack that immediately came together like that.
That is true, it did.
He is a pancake as far as they know.
Yeah.
Along with Nishijima.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
They may
understandable.
find... I understand what you're saying. They shouldn't be leaving a fellow soldier behind.
Yeah.
But they're not soldiers.
Agreed.
They're kids.
They're kids.
They're high school kids.
Yeah.
And 2 junior high kids.
Yeah.
And none of them are in their right mind at that moment.
Agreed. Completely agree.
They just know that the only thing they can do is the thing they have to do, which is stop Ordinimon.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree with you on
And
that.
bear in mind, Sora does tell Matt, you can stay here if you want to keep looking.
Yeah.
We understand. We'll all understand why.
Yeah.
And it's Matt who has to say, no, Ty's not here. Somebody has to step up.
Agreed.
And Matt's going to be the one to step up because that's the kind of person Matt is.
Yeah,
He
agreed.
knows he's not leader material, like we said before.
Yeah, but he's willing to step up.
He's willing to step up. And honestly, nobody else can even get close to filling Ty's shoes than Matt.
Right, agreed.
Anyways,
so yeah, mine was kind of like a kind of a third.
Anyway.
All right, so yeah, it's my third.
My third dislike You let Dark Jedi escape.
Yeah, I was like, what the fudge, man?
And it's not even... It's not like they actually say... They don't chase after him and he escapes in the nick of time like a good evil villain should. It wasn't that. That would have been fine. It wasn't... they had him caught and he somehow escaped.
Mhm.
It wasn't anything good like that. What it was is they're so happy their Digimon are back, sad for Mei Kunmon dying and everything else, that nobody goes after and looks for Dark Jedi.
Yeah.
So he can just leave at his own pleasure.
He literally stands on a rooftop
and says,
monologuing.
Oh, well, I didn't go so well. I'll try again next time. Maybe I'll bring up Diaboromon. Hey, guys! Evil Ken is over here. You need to go take care of him. He's going to be an issue. He's the reason Digimon Adventure Quad's going to happen now, because y'all didn't take care of your business. You let the villain escape. You didn't even try.
No.
Admittedly, you had no way of knowing where he was. But you can't tell me that there wasn't at least some human force that I mean, the military was all over that bay.
Yeah.
And nobody saw the digital emperor running around?
Mm-hmm.
Acting like the Joker, for crying out loud?
Yep, pretty much.
Nobody saw this? At least have someone say, as he's leaving, someone shout, "Hey you, stop there!" and run into the screen while he goes off into his own digital distortion field or whatever.
Yeah.
Do that. No, it's like, we don't even care he's gone. He's just escaped. We don't care. He's Dark Jedi.
Yeah.
So not only did this character, not have a good reason why he's turned evil, since he was a good character in the last 2 seasons he was in.
Yeah.
Not only did he not have a good beginning, is he just a mustache twirling bad guy who's just fun to watch, which is fine in most cases.
Right.
But that with the fact that he doesn't have a satisfying ending in any way, shape, or form you could do it, that's 3 strikes. He's a bad villain.
Yeah.
Because you do nothing from a writing standpoint to make him feel like a threat, because you can tell nobody cares what happens to Dark Jedi.
Yeah, he literally just walks off screen, does his dialogue,
yes,
and just walks off.
Obviously saying, "Oh yeah, there's another series coming in once we hit the 25th or 30th anniversary movie.
Right.
We're going to somehow bring everybody back. It's going to now be 2010 because this took place in 2005.
Yeah.
So it's like, I wonder how they're going to work that, since they rebooted Digimon Digital Adventure with whole new characters that changed some of the storyline apparently.
Yeah.
How are you going to work that in?
Who knows?
Can you imagine when Digimon Adventure Quad happens, and
If it ever happens,
but somewhere deep in the future, and you've got kids who, they love Digimon Adventure. They enjoyed. They're ready to see a sequel. They can't believe they've never made a sequel to this. They pop this in, and this is not the sequel to Digimon Adventure from 2000. This is a sequel to Digimon 95.
Uh-huh.
And you had to have watched a whole 20, was it a 30? How long is season 1?
20, about 30 episodes.
30 episodes of season 1. I'm going to assume about 30 episodes of season 2, plus a 6-part movie series to understand what's going on. This is getting as bad as the MCU.
Pretty much.
Except instead of it being all within like a 10-year period, it's over the course of 30 years. I feel sorry for the future. For future Digimon fans, I pray for you. If you find this podcast wanting to know what the crap's going on, and should you pay attention in 2030 and you just happen to run across this, I'm so sorry for you that you're now having to deal with this. And if we're still recording in 10 years and we're reviewing Digimon Adventure Quad, Drew, what are you doing with your life? Ouch. I'm teasing. Anyway, do we have anything else before we rate this thing?
No. All right, go ahead.
Okay, I am actually giving this, believe it or not, after that entire rant for the past 3 dislikes,
right,
I'm actually giving this an 8.5.
Whoa!
Because this is a fun movie.
I agree with
you.
And
it's a great wrap-up for Digimon Adventure Tri.
I agree with you.
all my issues with it are because I've enjoyed it so much that the bad parts of it are standing out like sore thumbs in high contrast to what was so good about this. And I would just like things to have turned out a little bit differently.
Right.
A little bit more happily, but yeah. That's my thought.
Wow.
What is your rating?
Wow. So that is kind of wow. I don't know what to say now. I really don't. There again, I have problems with this film. Like I said before, the idea that this movie it kind of fumbles here and there at the end, but it ends strong.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but it has so many little problems. I enjoyed it so much, but I'm so torn about this film. There are so many little problems, and there's not enough completely connected, or there's unanswered questions to a 6-part movie that concludes this series of films. And I'm like, I loved everything coming to this. It's a great film. Do not get me wrong. This is an amazing film. And I've given every one of these films an 8. Every one of them. I'm like, I don't know. Be like, 7.5.
7.5.
Yeah. I drop it just because there's so much I get they probably ran out of time. They probably ran out of money. Possibly. But there was so much of it just because I actually in my original notes, I had it much lower, but after this review and the conversation we've had over this,
Yeah.
it is it's still a great movie. It's a great conclusion to this franchise, but at the same time, it's just what the heck? So yes, I'm giving Digimon Adventure Try Future Movie 6 7.5.
All righty. That brings us to the end of yet another episode of the Cellcast.
All right. So before that,
And the end of season 3.
that is true. That is
Even
true.
though I don't have the seasons marked on the show, but anyway.
Right. So overall, we
yes.
have finished all 6 films.
Mhm.
How would you rate the movie overall?
Also, what would I rate all 6 parts
Yeah.
as one unit?
Yeah.
I'd give it an 8.
Give it an 8.
It's a fun journey.
Yeah.
I have issues with it, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, overall, beginning to end, I think the whole story, for what it is an 8.
Yeah. I'll completely agree. It is an 8 to me. Even though movie 6 does have problems and it does it tears at me a little bit, I still enjoy everything about this film. I was wrong in a few things here and there, but there again, we're wrong. We're human. We are flawed.
We all make mistakes.
We all make mistakes. So I'm going to give it a solid 8. It's a great movie series and highly recommend going and watch it.
Okay. So, next episode, we're not reviewing a movie.
Shocker of shocks.
It is our 3rd anniversary.
Yay!
Beginning the 4th year of the Cellcast. And so, of course, as we always do, when we have our anniversary episodes, we're going to be talking about the last year of the Cellcast, plus looking at trailers for upcoming movies.
Yes.
So you do want to join us next week for that. But I do have trivia for next week's episode.
Really?
And admittedly, I'm going to be the only one off the top of my head who's going to know this because I'm the only one with access to the stats.
So
my question is to all the listeners, what is your guess for the most downloaded Cellcast podcast episode over the course of this podcast's history?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is a good one. You already know what it is.
I think so.
So yeah, join us next week as we celebrate our 3rd anniversary, the beginning of our 4th season, and we will catch you then. So in the meantime, I've already kind of messed this up. This has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we will catch you in the next frame.
This has been prodigious.
Come, Jacob, we must prepare for next week.
Prepare for what, Drew?
The same thing we do every week, Jacob. Record a podcast!
Oh, boy.
So where can they find you, Jacob?
You can find me on Facebook at Jacob B. Heron, also on Facebook at Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where I try to draw each and every day. I don't get to it as often as I like, but join me there. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Jacob B. Heron, on Twitter at Jacob Heron, and Letterboxd at Jacob Heron. So where can they find you, Drew?
You can also follow me on Letterboxd at ggeorge759, Facebook as Drew Dodgen, my Facebook page where you can see pictures I've taken at Drew's Photo Bin. You can also follow me on Twitter at ggeorge759.
You can email us at thecellcastpodcast at gmail.com.
You can also follow us on Twitter at cast_cell.
You can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/thecellcastgaming.
You can also follow us on YouTube at Cellcast,
Listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts,
Google Play Podcasts,
Stitcher,
Spotify.
and your favorite podcast directory.
You can also listen to us on the Movie of the Week podcast with Jim Heron, where we talk about live action movies.
No,
and
you
remember, Cell is a single L. Done.